Good morning, students. Standard 9th, Political Science. Today we will study India's defense system. Every nation has its own defense system. We all know that defense system is of utmost importance in tackling all the threats a nation poses. Now, why there is a need of defense system? Since ages, when we study or as we get the stories of the old age, all the kings had their own armies, and that was the biggest asset to the kingdoms to protect themselves. In the beginning, if we try to understand, defeating other kings was just for pride. After that, defeating the kings, annexing their power, and asking them or pressurizing them to accept the overlordship became a part of political assets. So the kings now converted, or the kingdoms now converted into empire. After that, slowly the trend started changing. But the kings or the royal families always aim to be supreme in the region. For this, from time to time, certain incidents were responsible for changing the trends. As we move further from the medieval age onwards, particularly after getting the new geographical areas, that is America, Africa, New Zealand to India, and even other parts of Europe and Asia, Europeans who were in the forefront of capturing all these areas needed new strategies. Now, the land was to be captured but not be annexed to the kingdom. Only capturing and ruling it for political gain was not only the motive. Now, the intentions were to get more and more economic benefits. This slowly changed. Means, for example, if we try to understand the Arabians attacking India, coming through India to Khyber Pass, Hindu Kush Parvat as we call it, from Afghanistan, that is the route to enter into India. They came here, captured the land and settled down here. Never intended to go back. So today we find a mixture of many of the religious people in India who are not original Indians but comes to India, rules India for a long period, and with that whole of the dynasties along with the people accepts this land as their own. But with the changing trend, that is after 1850 onwards, slowly this tendency of capturing the land, annexing it to our own kingdom and expanding the territories of our kingdoms changed. Now it was in the motive of and the idea of getting more and more benefits. Because of this, the Europeans who started to capture American areas or American continents, after that, particularly India, because we have to study the security system in terms of India and others, we can call it, or the history gave a new word. It is imperialism. What exactly imperialism is? To capture a land, to get the overlordship of the political system of that land, and instead of going there, settling down there, or joining that area to our own land, these nations, the nations who were supreme or powerful, started to gain more and more benefit. And because of that, we come to know that the overlordship, that was the colonial powers as we call it, used the idea of, instead of getting the land and annexing it to their own kingdom, only having the political and more importantly economical benefits. After that, First World War takes place. Suddenly, the world experienced a new turn into political scenario, military dictatorship, dictators, military dictatorship, and other forms starts to emerge. There was a vast change, particularly because of the Russian Revolution, that socialism came forward, and this socialism gave birth to new ideologies. Socialism that is always working for the benefit of the poor people, working class particularly, the Karl Marx ideology. This changed the ideas of the world. And then, in the name of democracy, particularly after the Second World War, the world started to gain independence. The shackles of the political and economic overlordship from the Europe started to break down, and these nations, along with India and adjoining, started to gain independence. Now comes the time that each and every nation who got an independent status of the state as a nation, independent nation, had to face many problems. And we have to understand that in this sense, each and every nation that is having their own problems is said to be national security. This national security is dealt with each and every nation according to the geographical area where they are, according to the specific area, how much area they have. Even after that, the ideologies they are accepting, the mastery, the skill they have in one or in all senses to protect to safeguard their own country. Now, this national security is always because of the neighboring states. For example, when we study about our own India, we know that if we try to understand this India, here it is Pakistan. But here we find that there are 3 to 4 states. Afghan, then even some parts of Russia, that is Azerbaijan. Then here comes a long term of China. Here it was Tibet, Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar, Bangladesh. And after that, here's Sri Lanka. But at the same time, here are some other countries, for example, Indonesia, Malaysia, they are also the states of, and far away we have African continent. Now, if we try to understand all this area, India is having a land boundary. We call it land boundary. Whereas this is water bodies. So this is sea or water body. This is the Indian Ocean, Arabian Sea, and this is Bay of Bengal. Now we also have certain states here that we call them Andaman and Nicobar Lakshadweep. Now because of this, if we try to understand, the naval force is required. So India requires, what is Indian strength of national security? Because of the land boundary, we need army. Because of the water bodies, we need navy. And because of the mountainous range or these lands far apart and to reach faster in terms of security, we need even air force. So all the 3 aspects are needed for any country to safeguard its own security. Now, studying this, we come to know that now, along with the independence of each and every state after 1945, United Nations Organization was established. United Nations Organization gave importance to a sovereign state. What is a sovereign state? Any nation having all the rights to take its own decision, decisions for the benefit of people without any foreign pressure. Now, try to understand this, what it is. What is sovereign state? Any nation having the rights to take, or the nation that takes any decision without the pressure of other nations. For example, in today's term, that is 2020, if we try to understand the instability on the Himalayan track, we come to know that Nepal and India are having border disputes. A new version of border dispute is being seen between Nepal and India. Similarly, it is with China also. The Galwan Valley, as we all know or study from the news area now, we come to know that these are the areas that are posing threat. But Nepal, that was a contemporary since ages. The partner of India had never to contradict in any sense, in any ideologies with India. Today is claiming that some parts of India are the parts that are being annexed by India, and India being powerful to Nepal. Nepal is now struggling at an international level against India. Similarly, the same collapse or fight is between Pakistan and India. The particularly certain areas of Kashmir. Now, when we study about the Kashmir or when we study about the northern parts of India, try to understand this. The China, Pakistan, even Russia, the upper part, as similarly China is having Mongolia to the north of it. Now, these nations are the hilly tracts areas. They are elevated parts of the Himalayas. And because of this, China, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and even Bhutan, Myanmar, Bangladesh, Nepal, these are the areas which do not have the same geographical area as it is in the southern part of India. So being a hilly terrain area, it is very hard, very difficult to reach to each and every point. And for that, a new type of strategies, a new types of ideologies are being developed. For this, we know, we only hear that India is having a big army. Yes, Indian army is a vast, big army. Second in Asia after China. India is having 5,400 kilometers of the water bodies. Now, this water body is 5,400 kilometers. Now, this is a vast area which is to be protected by Navy. And the whole of the area, along with other parts, are to be expected coming under the Air Force. Now, Air Force is the swiftest, fast method of reaching any area where it is just easy for any nation. The stronger the Air Force, the safe will be the territorial borders. But it is not only that. Because of Army, Navy or Air Force, a nation is secured. As we study about a foreign state, when a state takes its own decision, it may affect other nations. Many times it occurs that in a nation, for example, Sri Lanka faces some internal problems. And because of that, the political community in Tamil Nadu or South India gets affected. The impacts of whatever is happening in Sri Lanka affects the southern states of India. Whatever that happens in Bangladesh affects the Orissa, Bengal, Assam and northeast of India. Whatever happens in Myanmar affects the other sides of its states that are related to India. That means at one and the same time, defense system is at the border level, so is in the interior. At the border, international borders, so is in the interior. That means defense, one go with the defense at two different levels. Yes, this is one and the other is Home Department. We call it police. Police or paramilitary forces are responsible for whatever is happening in the interior of the nation. They are the ones who try their best to solve all the problems associating the nation or the government of India for this. Naturally, to overcome all these threats, to overcome all these whatever the challenges that are posed from time to time, slowly all these, maybe the police, the paramilitary forces, the army, the navy, the air force and some of the other think tanks as we call them are there. So government at one and the same time have to work at different levels and accordingly there are various ways of safeguarding the defense of any nation. As far as India is concerned, we have to understand the national security. The national security that is at the international as well as the interior of the nation. International or the borders of the nation, may it be the water body, may it be the land part, and after the or along with this, the interior of the nation, that is the people living in the country, sometimes conflicts arises, and these conflicts prove beneficial for the means nations that are sharing borders with us. If any untoward incident happens in Jammu and Kashmir, quick benefits are taken by Pakistan. The whole of the borders of Gujarat, Rajasthan, Punjab, Jammu and Kashmir directly associated with Pakistan are the areas which are of the strategic importance. Similarly, when it comes to Aksai Chin is an area that is occupied by China, a part of Kashmir, and then definitely after 1960s this area was annexed by China. Similarly, China always claimed that Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh are of India, the states of India are the part of South China. Means there is a border dispute between India and China. Similarly, as we come to Bangladesh, there was, but now this problem is being solved. Because of the solving of this problem, there is now stability in these areas. But at the same time, the conflict with China is arousing. Now this is ideological differences. Why it all happens? How can it be tackled? Any nation standing independently has to face such challenges. So is India also facing these challenges. Now what exactly the national security is related to? How can we safeguard the national security? One, we have to understand the geography. A road that leads to Leh Ladakh has a stone that says that without geography you are nowhere. This means that we have to understand the geography of the area where we are. Geography is related with the climatic conditions, the terrains, the topography. Along with it, even the land or the soil that is available there, the rocks that are available there, they are all important, because any equipment or any either building or any material that is transported from one place to another is not that much easy in terms if we are unable to understand geography. The water bodies, the valleys, the hilly tracts, the terrains, all these possess positive as well as negativity to the nation if we are to utilize it. If we utilize it in a positive sense, definitely it will be beneficial. So India, when we study about geography, is having one of the Air Force base at the highest elevation point of the world, that is Leh. So when it comes to the water bodies, having 5,400 kilometers of the, sorry, it is not 5,000, 7,500 kilometers. 7,500 kilometers of the area that comes under the water body. It's a long area, and for that various machines or technologies, today we call it warships, the submarines as we call it, are that are being put to use to safeguard it. There is in the technological sense, that is literacy or science and technology. If the skilled laborers are available in the nation, definitely its boundaries can be preserved, can be secured. And for this, today satellites, that is the defense system, is being developed. Satellites are being used to get the photocopy. We all know about the GPS system. GPS system is the other side, which was rather first used only for defense. This GPS gives you the route, the road, wherever you want to go. That means on the map, each and every, the latitudinal and longitudinal extent of the world, that is both of these, the latitudinal and longitudinal extents of the world are being mapped out. And to a great accuracy, to a certain accuracy, that is the difference of the 30 centimeters as it is being noted from American Space Agency. With the shift of 30 centimeters difference, there is an accuracy. If we go and search with the help of the GPS system, we come to know that where we exactly are located in our city. For example, Akola, and in Akola where our house is. So these changes or these technological developments are used as they are used to show you the routes, to show you the building structures, are also used to detect the movement of the military on the border forces. Now, if we are able to understand this, that means if the literacy rate in terms of science and technology is high, definitely nation is much more powerful. For example, America, for example, Russia, even China, they have certain equipments, they have certain equipped arms and ammunitions which poses threat to many small nations, and without a single man's injury, these nations are able to capture other areas. Also, the nation goes with the friendship treaties. For example, the friendship treaty with Russia, that is India and Russia, that then during the Cold War period, when India went to war against Bangladesh, that is 1960s onward, the decade of 60s, and East Pakistan was converted into Bangladesh, India had to go against America for this decision. But in a quick suggestion, India accepted the treaty or signed a treaty with Russia, the then USSR, Soviet Union. And in this way, the two countries that came together till today have the strong bonds of friendship. This treaty from time to time started renewing, and now we are having such a strong strategic friendship that even BrahMos, one of the supersonic missile technology, is being developed by India and Russia. Naturally, these are certain things which always possess a benefit to a nation, and because of that, at the international level, though as we saw during the Cold War period, America and Russia, the two polar systems, the world was divided into either American or the Russian supporters. There was also the third, we call it non-alignment, non-aligned movement. This non-aligned movement as had its leadership also in the name of India, rather needed when it comes to the defense system the help of some other nations. When India conducted the nuclear test at Pokhran for the first time, many countries of the world poses economic sanctions. This actually affect the economy of India. But at the same time, against America, Russia and some other nations started attacking India. After 1990s, that is the collapse of the USSR, the world scenario started to change. And this change brought about new friendship or friends to India. At the same time, the same scenario also changed on this border. So China became much more stronger. Pakistan was much more strongly supported by first America and then other nations, even the Arabian countries. And at the same time, new friends were joined to India in the name of Germany, England, France, even Israel is now a nation that is coming too close to India in terms of defense system. Russia definitely is there. But now with the changing trend, world was as it was divided into two camps is now a unipolar state. That is America is at the supreme command. And because of this, India is also moving towards America. America needs a big market to sell its product. And India is having the second largest population in the world. Naturally, America has its marketing interest. Nowadays, we have to understand that war is not directly related to anything. That means one cannot go directly to the war if there are differences in ideological or anything. Means when a decision is taken in their own land, for example 370 related to Kashmir, the decision taken by the Indian government to move the article of 370 and giving independent status to Leh, Ladakh and Kashmir was something that hurt the sentiments in Pakistan, also in China. China is also directly related to Kashmir Valley because of Aksai Chin. The road, international Silk Route as we call it, or the world knows it, the corridor that is with the Pakistan and China, and from there entering into the Arabian nations, will be directly affected because of this decision. And so naturally, China also went against India's ideology. Many other countries did not have directly interference with the Indian foreign policy but supported the ideas of Pakistan and China. So naturally, again the world is becoming polarized under the leadership of China. China is playing a leadership game against America, and and this proves to be a tense situation. For this, all nations, not only India or these nations, all nations of the world always try to prepare themselves to get ready for the war. Keep it in mind as time moves on. Many nations comes along a new versions of new destructive weapons. As new destructive weapons come forward, the old ones are of no use. So naturally, nations have to spend more money first designing, research, development, and then utility. It's a long process, but nations have to spend the money on it. Near about 40% of the world's income is being spent on defense forces all over the world. And now, if this 40% is being reduced and some amount is used for the welfare of the people, definitely one would have been much more better place to live. But it is not the case. Everyone wants security, and in the name of security, every nation tries to strengthen the defense system. India's security system is with Army, Navy, and Air Force. Army, Navy, and Air Force. We all know that they are much more stronger. But at the same time, we have to understand the other side, that is the execution. The head of all three forces is President of India. The head of all three forces is the President of India, and the headquarters of all these three forces is in New Delhi. Keep it in mind, though Navy is never a part of Delhi, yet the office of Navy is in Delhi. So it's Army also. So Army, Navy and Air Force have their headquarters in Delhi because Delhi, a political capital of nation, also have President house there. So naturally, it is here that India is having. To support all these three, Indian government have from time to time designed many of the institutes that will boost Army, Navy, Air Force, and even the police. Police is responsible for internal security, to safeguarding the interest of the public, common man. And in this name, when we try to understand, police are also being given a supportive hand by the name of NCC, that is the paramilitary organizations, also the home guards, scout and guides as we call them. But these are the training area or grounds from where students get attracted either towards the military or police, and government leads it. Or nation, instead of government we can say nation leads it. For this there are various sources, that is HAL, Hindustan Aeronautical Limited, BHEL, Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, then ISRO, nowadays we hear it, Indian Satellite Research Organization, DRDO, Defense and Research Development Organization of India. These are the institutes. There are also many. These are the institutes that are associated with developing new and new weapons for India. Along with these weapons, one comes to know that with the changing trends of the world, the arms and ammunitions are also being changed. The nation which never knew the importance of the atom suddenly realized it after on the onset of the Second World War, which ended the war in the tide of America. Because of that atomic energy, all the nations of the world wants that atomic power with them. So India also struggled. India achieved it. But for that, a huge amount of money was to be spent. Along with India, Pakistan, China have that nuclear capability. So if the threat increases between war between these nations, there can be also an increase in threat for nuclear use or nuclear weapons by these nations. Now, if it takes place, it will be a hazardous decision for any nation which will be affected by it. And not only the nation, the adjoining nations also, the international community will get affected. So to overcome this, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the paramilitary organizations as we call them, and even the police are to be trained. Even the civilians are to be trained. We will try to get all these things in the next lecture. How one can overcome the defense threat posed by other nations, and for that which are the institutes that are working in collaboration or hand in hand along with the government policies. Even government's foreign policy, even government's trade policies, even government security policies, even government's literacy are responsible for the defense of any nation. As far as India is concerned, we will try to find it in the next chapter. Thank you.